I know James McAvoy played in one of the Dune movies.
There's only been 2 Dune movies.
There was like a miniseries or whatever.
There was another Dune. And
James McAvoy, he was the main character.
Was he in it?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's one of the... Well, I think he's got the blue eyes of the Fremen in that one.
Right. But see, that's the thing about this Dune is Timothée Chalamet is delightful.
I've never seen him in any... I've never really heard of him in anything.
I kind of heard him. I kind of heard about him for the first time, like this time last year, and then I kind of looked into his work and was like, oh, okay, this guy's a quality actor. And then I saw him in Dune. I'm like, damn, this guy's got gravitas for days.
Yeah, I want to say I saw his credits on like a kind of like an art house kind of film that looked interesting, but I've never seen it, and I honestly can't recall the name of it.
He's a good actor. Oscar Isaac's great in it.
What about Josh Brolin?
He's good. You know, he's like the grizzled old man, like, you know, because that's kind of how he is.
What's his face? Gurney.
Gurney, right? Yeah, all the major universes are represented in this film too. Dave Bautista and Josh Brolin represent Marvel. Jason Momoa is in it. He represents DC, and Oscar Isaac's is in it. He represents Star Wars. So they're excuse me, all the universes are covered in this.
And Rebecca
film.
Ferguson's in it.
She's in it. She plays the first lady, you know, or the mother.
Lady Jessica.
Lady Jessica. I always call her.
Wasn't she in like a quasi sci-fi thing before this?
I don't know. Was she?
I don't know.
We'll have to look that up.
I feel like she was.
Probably.
Maybe I'm making it up.
But Dune is a delight, and you should go see it with an open mind. And if you can, try to sit through David Lynch's. It's a little bit harder to follow. It's a little bit more boring. And this Dune...
They talk about spice.
They do talk about spice. It's a lot about spice. But in David Lynch's Dune, it also goes by... It goes faster than this one because they crammed the whole story into this one movie, as opposed to this new one where they have a part 2 coming out.
And what's his face? Skarsgård. He represents the Good Will Hunting expanded universe.
That's right. Yes, he does. You're right. Does Good Will Hunting have an expanded universe?
I know they made a joke about it in like that Jay and Silent Bob movie.
Right.
Like Good Will Hunting 2. They called it like hunting season.
I don't think they're going to do that for real.
No, they didn't do it for real, but you know, I would be delighted if they did.
That would be delightful.
I would love to see like a trash movie.
It would be horrible.
Just make it into the mainstream.
Another great movie you should see is No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie, and the last one to star Daniel Craig.
I've honestly never got into Daniel Craig as James Bond.
I never did either, but when you go...
Not to say he's not good, I just
But that's just it. Like, I was never like... Because I loved Pierce Brosnan. That was the James Bond we grew up with.
That was the 90s James Bond.
That was 90s James Bond. We would go make a purpose to go see his films because we loved him as James Bond. Or at least that's how I felt. Daniel Craig, I could take or leave, but every time I go to see one of his movies, I love the movie. Like yeah,
that's not to say he's not good.
I love the movie. Out of all of his films, I've only seen 3: Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and No Time to Die. All 3 are great films. I like them.
I've seen Casino Royale, and that's it.
I really like.
That was the very first one.
That was his very first one. And the difference between this James Bond as opposed to other James Bonds is this James Bond has a story arc. It's an overarching thing. There's villains of the week in each film, but like everybody that's in his life keep making appearances, and he actually falls in love this time. He's not just
he falls in love in the first one.
Yeah, he does.
But she dies.
And
that's what more or less like starts jades him, I guess.
And then in the last movie, he falls in love with another woman. She kind of betrays him a little bit, and then they come back together. Blah blah blah. I don't want to spoil it.
Who cares? It's been out 10 years. Who cares?
No, not Casino Royale.
Oh,
No Time to Die.
Okay.
It's been out for a month. I don't want to spoil it.
Who cares? Nobody's listening.
Okay, well, spoiler alert. I'm putting it out there. I'm saying it right now. If you have plans to see No Time to Die, turn us down. Don't turn us off, but turn us down for a second.
And in Dune, Timothée Chalamet becomes like a Christ-like figure, more or less.
But that's in the story.
But it's bad.
You know,
but in a bad way.
You know that going into Dune. Okay, I hope they've turned it down. James Bond dies at the end of this film. No Time to Die.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I take it back. Don't spoil it.
Okay. Oh, well, it's too late now. I've said it. It's out there.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We're not recording at home anymore.
No, we can't take that out.
Can't take it back.
Sure.
James Bond dies.
Yeah.
Too late.
But
does he get shot?
No, he explodes. He gets blown up. He's get blowed the f up.
Does he get eaten by a sandworm?
No, sadly, no. That would have been amazing.
I want to see that universe.
That would have been
a James Bond Dune crossover.
That would be amazing. I would be all for that. I think that would be an amazing film. Could just have
fear is the mind.
They make James Bond. They put James Bond in charge of the spice.
And he's going like,
on the Dune
I must
planet.
not fear.
Yes.
Fear is the mind killer.
Fear is a mind killer, and then he's actually personally in charge of like controlling the sandworms, because at this point in the storyline they're able to control sandworms, and so James Bond's in charge of doing that. So you just see him in a schlocky scene, him like riding a sandworm with a cowboy hat or some stuff.
And people do ride the sandworms because it's weird.
It's weird. BOGO, but BOGO though. This is a cat meme that you're.
I think this is this is kind of what like tipped my interest in Dune.
Okay.
Was
I'm interested. I
yeah.
I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total. What is it?
I will face my fear.
I will face my fear.
But it's the whole thing. It's the whole Dune speech, but except
instead of
instead of showing Timothy Chalamet, they show a fat cat with a vacuum cleaner on it. Because cats have to face their fears.
Well, I have to find
cleaner.
I have to find that and post that now. Of course,
it's a solid movie.
Dune is great. You won't see this cat in it, but Dune is great. Yeah.
What is this? Oh, that's a dog
dressed as a sandworm.
Yep, leaning over the dunes.
You know what movie's gonna suck though is the new Home Alone film. I think it might have already just come out, but
there's a Home Alone.
It's a soft. It's what they like to call a soft reboot.
If Macaulay Culkin's not in it, I'm not interested.
Apparently, he makes a cameo, but he's not in it. No, this is.
I want to see. He's like still living at home at 40.
Yeah,
I want to see that. And they try to break in.
I think that the perfect Home Alone movie would be like Macaulay. Like Kevin McAllister's now an adult and he has a kid, and he
accidentally leaves his kid.
Well, no, he doesn't accidentally leave him at home, but like he.
It's like I was traumatized by this. Why would I do it?
Well, the premise of Home Alone 3 was
never saw that one.
You never saw that one.
I saw the first.
That was Macaulay. That was the first one that was Macaulay Culkinless. But in that film, the premise is the main kid is sick at home, and his mom has to go to work because they
That's
need
a terrible mom.
They need her.
It's very indicative of just being in America.
Well, like they're both like big business people.
Okay.
And so the dad has to go on a business trip, so he has to be out of town, and the mom is going to stay with the kid, but they absolutely there's no excuse. She has to come into work, and she gets mad at the job because like I'm trying to take care of my son. They're like, you have to come in. Like, I'll come in for 1 hour. And so she goes to work and leaves him home alone, and that's how that premise starts. So I was like, well, maybe you could do something with that. Macaulay Culkin has to do something, leaves the kid at home.
Did this take place in America?
Yes.
It sounds like, no child care.
What's weird is all of these movies take place in Chicago. They all take place, every Home Alone movie takes place. Now, this movie does take place in the Home Alone universe, but it's what we call a soft reboot. The parents leave the kid by accident when they go off on a plane to go do the thing.
Okay.
And they call a police officer. Spoilers, the police officer is Buzz. Kevin's older brother.
That guy.
His bully older brother is now a police officer, and he goes in to check and everything and blah blah blah. And Macaulay Culkin's supposed to make a cameo. I've not seen it, but that's in the trailer. That didn't spoil anything. That's in the trailer. So it's in the universe, but it's like basically the same film. So that movie's going to suck, and I feel bad for Home Alone because that's a great film.
Who cares?
Home Alone's a great film, damn it.
I never saw Home Alone 3, though. It sounds like it definitely took place in America, though.
Yeah.
No child care.
Hey, there it is. You know what's up.
It's like you have to prioritize work over family.
Hey, that's the way it rolls.
Kind of stuff.
Capitalism. Hey, timely message. It's already out of date by the time you hear this on Mixcloud, but it's all good. I almost lost the pin there, but it's all good.
Almost.
But yeah, that movie's gonna suck.